Okay, I'm going to be teaching you how to add consecutive numbers or adding consecutive even or consecutive odd numbers. And let me just start off by saying these three tricks right here are some of the most important ones that I'll be teaching you. Especially this first one, adding consecutive numbers trick. It's amazing how often problems like this pop up in other problems that you're solving. So let me first teach you how to add a consecutive numbers trick. This is what you're going to do. When you're adding a whole bunch of numbers in a row, starting with 1 through, we'll say in this case 20, what you're going to do is you're going to take the last number times whatever would be the next number. So if the last number is 20, the next number would have been 21, and you're going to divide that by 2. So the way I like to say it is the last times the next divided by 2. The last times the next divided by 2. Now, don't multiply first. Just like I said before, divide first. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So this becomes 10. And then I'm left with 10 times 21, which is 210. You can sit there for 5 minutes and figure that out on your own, but trust me on this, adding up 1 through 20 is 210. All right? The last times the next divided by 2. Now, what if I'm adding a whole bunch of even numbers starting from 2? Well, it's very similar to the other trick. Just like before, you're going to take the last number times the next. Now, the next number in this case is not 21. It's actually 22 because we're counting by evens. But we're going to divide each one by 2. If you think about that for a few minutes, that makes sense because it's going to be half as big as adding 1 through 20. Adding 1 through 20, just the even numbers, would be half as big, so that's why we're dividing both of them by 2. So 20 divided by 2 is 10, and 22 divided by 2 is 11, and 11 times 10 is 110. So the way I like to say this, remember this was the last times the next divided by 2. This one is half the last times half the next. Half the last times half the next. All right, and then the third trick is adding a bunch of odd numbers. So the way you do this one is you start off by writing the last number and you add 1 to it. So you want to basically make it even. So you're going to take the 19, you're going to add 1 to it. So now it's 20. You're going to take that number, divide it by 2, and then square it. So 19 plus 1 is 20, divided by 2 is 10, square it is 100. And the way I like to say this trick is make it even by adding 1, half it, square it. Make it even, half it, square it. So let me summarize here. The last times the next divided by 2, half the last times half the next, and then make it even, half it, square it. These are some of the most important tricks that I'll be teaching you throughout these videos. I call these deal breakers. If you don't know this equation, if you don't know this formula right here, there's a lot of things you're not going to be able to do because of that. On a side note, if somebody asks you to find the first 20 triangular numbers, I'm not going to go into it in this video what is a triangular number, but if somebody asks you to figure out what the sum of the what the 20th triangular number is, it's actually quite easy because you're basically asking them to add up 1 through 20. So when someone says, what's the 20th triangular number, all you really have to do is add up 1 through 20, which I just taught you here. Have fun with it.